Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you so choose. Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you.
Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout out to the whole LDBC. If you like this video, feel free to like the video. And I also invite you to subscribe to this page. And if you do subscribe to this page, you will be, in the loop with new content that come from this page. If this is your first time on this page, this platform is mostly devoted to sports. However, we do cover different issues besides sports, such as social issues that have to do with ethnic minorities, especially immigrants, since I myself am an immigrant, who has definitely the immigrant experience. And so to get into this video, I would like to actually talk about that. This video is a vent, and it is the root of this vent is a quote in which one of our great African leaders who led a revolution and actually had clear-cut objectives, in which some of those objectives he met in the revolution was carried out, basically. And basically this quote has, I can say that I've, very, very, very much so have experienced what he said in this quote firsthand. He said, "A soldier without political or ideological training is a potential criminal." And I'm going to use my vent. I'm going to use that quote as the basis of my vent, because there are many instances which this comes to play. The first instance just basically happens in driving down the street, basically being African immigrant in, I guess you can say, West Los Angeles. Driving down the street equals potential for getting shot just from a routine traffic stop, getting beat, or just getting pulled over for no reason. I will say this from experience, it is very likely that you will get pulled over or you will get messed with just driving down the street, minding your own business, obeying all the rules of the road. For example, they will flash the light in your car while you're driving. They will have no problem impairing your vision with them bright ass lights while you're driving. Okay? They will flash the light in your car while you're driving in hopes that they catch you in some shit. But how can they catch you in some shit when you're driving and you're focused on the road? They're not going to catch you on a cell phone as they hope to catch you on a cell phone. especially if the car is moving. Chances are you're not going to be focused on the text or anything like that. And if you are focused on the text, it's because you have that cell phone, you have a mounted cell phone stand. But it's happened many times where they pull right up beside me while I'm driving and flash this bright ass flashlight into the car. And I'm like, and they act like I don't see it. And then, unfortunately, that's used as a booby trap, because with that bright ass light, chances are you may swerve. You may swerve because you're getting hit with it unexpectedly. And so if you do swerve, guess what? They pull you over, and they're gonna now have probable cause that in which they caused, though, to to just mess with you. You know, another incident happened when you're just driving and you're just in the wrong neck of the woods. Happened in Newport Beach one time. I was there. I got pulled over. As soon as the cop came up to the car, gun was drawn. You know, they had the gun drawn for a routine traffic stop. And the questions in which some of them ask show that ideological and that political training does not exist with them. One of the questions was, when I was in Newport Beach, was, "What are you doing here?" That was the question. As if I don't have the right to be there. As if, you know, it was not like that. It was prohibited for me to be there. Another question was, "What do you do for a living?" You know, because the thing is, I have more than one car. I have a car that an everyday car that I drive, you know, for the sake of gas, because it's really good on gas. And I have something a bit nicer that I like to drive on the weekends. So that question was very, very dumb. And it had nothing to do with me being pulled over, asking me what do I do for a living, asking me where am I coming from, you know. And I myself personally, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to hold myself to doing this, I personally need to study more about law. You know, it's just my readings basically have been like the thoughts. My most recent readings have been the thoughts of the game changers basically in our history. You know, I haven't really been reading about law in this country, but perhaps I need to really start doing so. You know, or perhaps I need to find someone who can really tap me in so I can have a better grasp at what's going on, you know. But I say this to say that quote resonates because you see how they shoot us indiscriminately. You see how they beat us indiscriminately. You see not only the police officers guilty of doing these things, but you also see soldiers abroad in which this country has sent to these foreign countries in order to maintain peace and justice, but really they've caused nothing but havoc and, very bad things in that country. I mean, of course, there is Iraq when soldiers sexually abused prisoners there. We saw those pictures pop up. There's places like Afghanistan where waterboarding occurred as well, in different forms of torture. Many have gone on hunger strikes because of these things. And the difference between, the difference between like a legit soldier and a legit law enforcement officer is that they will actually be at the service of the people, not against the people. But these people right here are against the people. They're not in service of us at all. They're really not. And it's just sad, It's sad that if you're a minority, you're often thinking, once you leave your house, is this going to be my last time? Am I going to come back? You're thinking that. That's in the back of your mind. Because there are police killings that are not reported on, As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, one happened on Imperial Highway, where a police shot innocent 17-year-old boy, I think. And even recently, I think this happened this weekend. There was a police rookie who lied about getting shot at or getting shot by a sniper. He ripped his shirt to make it look like he got shot by a sniper or something. And then he had a shoulder bruise or whatever. And he used that to as a means of actually having two people wrongly arrested because of that, and also basically having many SWAT members come out of nowhere to try to apprehend a sniper that was not even there. So the way I look at it, when I look at the whole spectrum of soldiers from here and police officers, is that they're criminals, because they don't really have any solid training which entails service to the people. As a matter of fact, I was told by a good friend of mine, that in police academy, when you're in police academy, you are taught not to shoot a guy. For example, if a guy is running, you are taught not to shoot the guy in the behind or in the leg to neutralize him. You're not taught to do that. What you are taught to do is shoot the guy in the back or above the back. That's where you have to shoot. So in reality, your goal is to potentially paralyze that guy or kill him. And so this is why me personally, I will always carry mistrust for police officers. I will always carry mistrust for Army men in this country. I don't give a crap if they're war veterans with Iraq or anything like that. I will always have a sense of mistrust for them. You know, I understand if you do join the Army for the benefits that come with the Army. I understand that. But if you told me you've done tours in Iraq and you've done tours in Afghanistan, then I'm going to have a sense of mistrust for you. That doesn't mean I'll disrespect you or anything, but I'll, in the back of my head, understand that he's probably done some stuff that I would not be proud of, or that any morally upright person wouldn't be proud of. I remember I talked to one person about that war who was actually in that war, and he told me about some of the things he saw and some of the things he done. And one of the things that he had to do, this is what he had to do. But he said that you never know if a child was a suicide bomber, basically. And so even when a child was innocent, you still had to off that child, you know, because you just never know. So that just tells me everything I need to know. Because if that's the case, why not go to the source of the suicide bombing instead of doing something like that? Why not do it in a strategic way? Why just shoot everything that you see? So me, I'm just going to be real with you. This instrumental that you hear on this video is from a Nipsey Hussle song called The Field. And I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I step out of my house, I feel like I'm in the field, you know? Like, I'm going to be real with you. I should get a Purple Heart, the amount of shit I've seen. Like, the amount of shit I've had to deal with these guys. Like, you know, the ICE raids. You know, these ICE raids have separated family friends to a point where you have to, where now we have to take the load and we have to take care of the widows that these things separate. You know, we have to deal with niggas dying in those immigration centers. I don't want to say this, but I know at least, like, right now, I know at least like 15 niggas who died in those centers, you know. They're fallen soldiers, so, you know, it's real in the field for niggas like us, man. And then you have to also factor on that we black immigrants, man. So at any given time, it could be us getting shot by them because they just don't give a shit, you know. And again, they don't have no political or ideological training. Their training is just based on a couple of key things. And one of those key things is anti-blackness. And if you can prove me wrong, then do so. Because I'm going to end on this note. It's okay for the officer with the complexion for the protection to gun down an innocent person who's of my complexion. But when vice versa happens, that officer is getting football numbers. because that happened earlier this year, I believe. Black officer gunned down this woman. Instead of getting off, he doing time now. He doing time. So yeah, man, that's how it is out here. And so I say this to all the people, and this is a reminder for myself. Don't be, how should I say it? What's a good word to use? Don't be constricted, or don't constrict yourself in your movements based on the obvious elephant in the room that these politicians won't talk about. Although it can mean that you may be subjected to being offed, being knocked off by these cops. You still have to live your life. You still have to try to prosper in your life. You still have to try to expand and go after your goals in your life. You still have to be the best version of you. You still have to have a clear and a tranquil focus on your goals. You still have to keep a good intention in your actions, despite the obvious challenges that come your way. And unfortunately, one of those challenges could be death. Yeah, I just have to say that. But Foolish signing out. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments about this issue. I also want to bring another issue to mind that occurred. Video also surfaced of U.S. soldiers actually pissing on carcasses of fallen martyrs in these wars. So that just goes to show you the respect they have for us. And they say if you can't beat them, join them. I'm gonna pass on in all of that. I'll pass completely. I can't join. It wouldn't be wise to join something where you don't have any political or ideological training in that thing. The Army of Sankara was pretty different and of other revolutionary governments, the armies and the militias were different because they will actually serve the people. They will actually help the people build things, like schools, irrigation, and things like that. But this will not occur with these people. The only thing they're trying to build more is the prison complex so they can put more of us in it, and the immigration complex so they can put more of us immigrations there too. But that's all I got for now, guys. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments. Foolish signing out. I'm Jad Argo.